that's the way that it's gonna be, unless you stand up and make the changes you wanna see. A non-medicated mind is ready to be free, but that's too dangerous, don't you see? You might discover your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own philosophy, your own non-conformist views. You might read the alternative press, or you might learn about health online from natural news. You might threaten the status quo, go where nobody goes, follow a path you chose, learn what nobody knows.
The main thing is that I already know all these alternative media outlets are all working kind of together separately. I call it the deceptive web. They don't know that they're working together, but they are.
I agree with you.
They all have different masters that they work under, and they keep it that way because they don't want people finding out the truth, even the people that are the psyops. They want them they want Mike Adams to feel like he's special, empowered, and protected, but they don't want him to know that the guy over here has also got the same thing. So they keep them separate, but at the same time they're all working together and they don't know it.
Yeah, well, it's called compartmentalization.
Exactly.
I want to ask you your permission. Really, it's not permission, but your opinion and whether I'm right or not. Now, I think that you were right in telling me not to go after Mike Adams with an article that, because they'll consider it as if I'm picking a fight. And that's what Chris Kidd said, that I was picking a fight, but it's not. It's just showing information and let people form their opinion around it. So I agreed with him yesterday not to submit an article against one of his contributors, which would be Natural News and Mike Adams. So I want to take Chris Kitts down because I don't consider that website anything more than National Enquirer that's on the same level. It's spewing out junk. They don't monitor anything. They only wait for other people to, argue about something, and then they'll ban that person because what Chris does is he looks at numbers, how many people hit articles, what's the he boasts about having 8 million people a month across that website, and what he's doing is he's contributing, just as you explained it, working for the masters.
Well, I mean, it's he practices censorship. If he's going to tell you not to post an article about somebody, then that's censorship. That's not freedom of press. That's not freedom of speech.
And you're absolutely
right. It's no different than if I went on Infowars.com and said a bunch of stuff on their blog. When they sit there and say that they practice freedom of speech, they're going to delete it. They're going to go through and delete all of it, even if it's credible information.
Yeah, that's why they need to go. Hey, Chris, Lee Bracker.
Hi.
Hi. Funny, I just got your email right as I sent you one. So I figured I got a couple of minutes before I have to do my thing. But I wanted to clarify what it is that Mike Adams is doing specifically. Well, we'll start there. You say he's doing a lot of great things. In your mind, pick a real great thing that he's done, just so that I can wrap my mind around it, and then perhaps I'll field a question to you and see where we go from there.
Well, he's, think about what he does. He promotes alternative medicine. That's a good thing. He promotes alternative healing ways. That's a good thing.
That's a good place to start. What do you not agree with?
He's kind of an indirect contributor. Sometimes I think he has actually contributed a few stories in the past. But our general policy is we don't allow people to say bad things about an alternative news media personality. And the reason is it's hard enough being an alternative news media person without having people from inside the alternative news media community shooting arrows at people. So we just don't allow it. You can write whatever you want to, and if Stefan sees it and people complain about it, he'll take it down. So it's just that simple. I don't want to see you waste your time. We were just completely free range. You can write anything. But when people write stories on our site about another contributor, we just draw the line there. If you want to do that, go to Godlike Productions or somewhere like that. That's been what has kept the peace. And, to keep 5,000 people happy and not from shooting at each other, that's a pretty good accomplishment. And that's why we intentionally go out of our way to make sure that people don't spend their time writing stories that are negative about something. Now, where there's some factual thing that happens that is like a criminal thing, that's news. And that's something that, so-and-so got arrested for shooting a hole in the 7-Eleven. Right? Could be a news story. That's okay.
What if it's proof and it's there in an article and people call in to Stefan and disagree, say, hey, that's a lie, without verifying, whether the information is legitimate or not? Is your website legitimate, or is it more like the National Enquirer then? I have to stop you now just to say this. If there is evidence against one of your contributors, and that person has actually conducted a international crime, are you protecting them by censoring another contributor that has found out the truth?
Just go somewhere else. Go to the Godlike Productions.
And he won't report those facts. He leaves all of that out and says, look, there's 1,000 parts per million in here, and you're consuming that. Would you want to consume that?
That's why I want to expose Chris Kitts, because he is advocating for people like that to bash people like you without even considering the facts, without even...
He doesn't call me. Yeah, he doesn't call me trying to get the opposite side.
None of that.
You should have heard me. This is Mike Adams calling me. You're a liar. You're a these people. And then he goes like this. I go, well, our product doesn't have any heavy metals in it. He goes, prove it to me. And I said, well, we have an MSDS. And I said, you should have a copy of that. So he goes, send it to me right now. And he's like yelling at me every other word. I sent him the MSDS, and the first thing he goes, this is an MSDS. I've seen thousands of MSDSs. This is fake. And I said, well, that's funny because I imported this all over the world. I've imported this in the UK. I've imported this to South America. I've imported it over to Asian countries. I've imported it into Africa using this MSDS. So if it's fake, why would they have imported it with this? I go, in fact, I imported it in the United States and Japan with this MSDS. Oh, yeah? This MSDS is lying. And I said, how is it lying? It says there's no heavy metals in here. It says right here, no heavy metals. But there's 10,000 parts per million of aluminum. It's lying. And I said, well, that just tells me how ignorant you are about minerals. I go, because aluminum's not a heavy metal. In fact, it's one of the lightest metals. It's the second lightest metal next to titanium.
Awesome.
And see, that he threatens this whole, I had him on audio. He'd never release the full audio to public. He wouldn't even release a bout of it because I smashed his ass. In fact, he started screaming and I go, you know what? You're like a big bully on a playground and I'm not going to be bullied.
Good for you, Matt.